I think a new team has arrived in the AFC West, and their name is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
Herbert stops, launches deep. Jalen Guyton, he's got it!
Herbert fires open, making the grab. Mike Williams down the sideline. On the 17-yard line, look out again. Carr, intercepted.
And we're back with another episode of the Shock Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Lawrence. You can find me at LAC Master Bowl. With me, as always, my co-host, Zach Alfers. How are we doing, Zach? What's up, Zach?
What is up?
Can
you hear me? I feel like
I can hear you, man.
I hear you now. All right. What's up?
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about these Cardinals. We're playing the Cardinals on Sunday. It's a Sunday daytime game, right? Let's talk a little bit about these Cardinals.
The early
is
slot.
Kyler Murray going to play? Is it the early slot?
Who knows?
I'll be there.
I feel like it all
So
depends on. We're all off.
That's right. So we are playing the Cardinals on Sunday. I will actually be at that game with my little brother. Thanksgiving game, always exciting. We're playing Kyler Murray, maybe. I don't know. He's been out the last 2 weeks. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury. They have not looked good with him in the lineup. They have looked even worse with him out of the lineup. Kind of what are your expectations on how this game's going to go?
I'm hoping it's a good show out game for the Chargers, who are in a kind of a rut, to say the least. 1-3 over the last 4 games. But we got a very winnable slate. We aren't out of it by any means. I think just a game out of playoff contention right now. It's time to string some wins together, get some bodies back, build some momentum, and beat teams that we're supposed to be beating. The Cardinals are definitely beatable. 3-4
and 7?
7 on the year. Similar kind of situation. They got a lot of bodies. 4-7. Okay. They have a similar situation. They haven't been healthy all year. Even when they're at full strength, they've been hit or miss. So it's really hard to kind of peg this Cardinals team to see what version of them we're gonna get. But I big momentum building game. We need to turn things around, and I think it's a good type of. I think it's going to be a good game for us to kind of roll things around. I think they have a really good running back in James Conner, but their leading rusher is Kyler Murray. All 5'10" of him is their best rusher, which are off-platform runs. You can't you can only game plan for that so much in like a practice squad type or practice type of setting. So I think this is a get right type of game for the Chargers. I hope all into the trap mentality, because this is a very beatable team, and we need to go out there, play 4 full quarters, and put a second half together. I'm so tired of coming out strong, getting a lead, and then letting it kind of dwindle at the end. It's kind of been our MO early on this year. I need to see a strong opening, top it off with a nice second half, and this team is built to be beat.
I think Kyler Murray's coming up a little short of expectations. He's definitely got a little,
because he's short.
I don't know.
He's 5'10".
It's like Lord Farquaad over here. He's not playing well. He's only completing 66% of his passes, 12 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He's been sacked 24 times and hasn't even played the last 2 games. The thing that makes Kyler Murray a threat is his legs. He's got a cannon of an arm for a little guy, but Lord Farquaad is just not getting it done, and he's just having a lot of troubles. Actually, Colt McCoy has been a lot more efficient. He's completing 70% of his passes, but overall, they just lack any type of dynamic on offense. We thought that once DeAndre Hopkins came back into the lineup that this team might have gotten right, but they're dealing with a ton of injuries. And obviously it starts with Kyler Murray, but it goes all across the roster. You look at Buda Baker's banged up, Zach Ertz hasn't played in a couple games. DJ Humphrey, Byron Murphy were both out for the last game. We don't have a full injury report right now, so I'm literally just going off what was against the 49ers. They're banged up and they're just not clicking. And this was a team that everybody thought was going to really push to win their division, and it's just not happening. The 49ers really kind of embarrassed them on Monday Night Football last night. I don't think that there's a whole lot to be afraid of with this team. Going into this game, like we should definitely steamroll past this team because they're dealing with a lot of issues. I don't know, maybe Kyler Murray's not watching enough film, playing too much Call of Duty, but they need to get right quickly if they have any chance to make playoffs. And I just don't see it. They just don't look very good at all. I don't know what it is about this team because you look at the roster, they have a lot of star quality players. Like this team is too good on paper to be playing the way that they are.
Yeah,
taking
it's
a
very
look
similar.
across.
Just no type of consistency with these injuries they haven't been any, they're having a really tough time building any type of camaraderie, building off of each other. And when you got guys coming in and out of the lineup, that's very hard to do to find some consistency. So their struggles are very similar to the Chargers in the fact that you don't really know who's going to be out there on any given Sunday. And for the Chargers, this is a perfect time to take advantage of a injury-riddled roster, a team who has no type of momentum right now, a team who's really has no playoff shot. I mean, you could rattle some games off here towards the end of the season, but I'm not super. There's not much that I'm scared about from this team.
No, not at all. Just taking a look at their statistics on the ground. You just said Kyler Murray is their leading rusher, and then James Conner only averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Here's the crazy part about their whole rushing offense. So they're averaging as a team 4.2 yards per carry. Kyler Murray averaging 6.1 as a quarterback. You kind of expect that. How bad is this rushing game when you take his 350 yards on the ground out of this? Like, that's just not a good team on the ground. And then when you're not playing your star quarterback, I mean, there's even less hope for this offense overall. But I still feel like they're a really, really talented team. You take a look across their depth chart. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Trey McBride was a really high draft pick for them. I feel like DJ Humphries and Kelvin Beachum are a pretty good tandem on the outside on the tackles. You look across their defense, JJ Watt, maybe not, a shell of his former self, but it's still a guy that can wreak havoc in the backfield. Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins as linebackers, both drafted extremely high, both ultra athletic guys who can make plays for you. Byron Murphy, really, really good slot corner in the NFL. And then Buda Baker, who's been an outstanding safety for them really since he entered the league. I mean, this team isn't deprived of talent. They have some injuries, Rodney Hudson being out, Will Hernandez being out. But outside of that, like, they seem like they're pretty much at a lot of strength on this for this team overall. I don't get why they're not playing very well.
I think there's a reason why you have to put into a contract for your franchise quarterback to study film. And I think they're lacking leadership. They are very injured. But I think that the big thing here is they have no type of leadership. They have no culture, and they have very little direction. It's very hard to get that type of direction when you mention all of the injuries they have. But I think it all kind of reflects the lack of leadership coming from Kyler Murray. I just don't think he's a leader of that locker room. I think guys are starting to doubt him. And when doubt starts to build up in the locker room, you get a 4-7 team with a playoff type of roster with the talent. You just look at the talent that should be producing week in and week out. It's just not there. And to me, it's a combination of leadership from Cliff Kingsbury and a lack of leadership from their franchise quarterback in Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Going across this team, I guess I kind of want to get your thoughts. Like you already said, like we should blow this team out. Like what are your expectations when we go and play them on Sunday?
So I want to blow them out. This is such a trap game because we don't know. This to me is a trap game. And so if you underprepare, if you're not ready, you're going to get blown out. I want them to win. I need them to win because we are at a very pivotal place in our season. If we let this game get away from us, I think that's the season. Season's over. You're going to probably start talking about draft pick placement for next season. I want it to win. I want to win this game badly because I think our season depends on it. But it's trap game written all over it because it's any given Sunday. Kyler Murray can come out and become that first round draft pick that he was drafted to be. DeAndre Hopkins had a phenomenal game last week. He's finally healthy, but I need us to beat this team. I think they're a good running team, which has been our Achilles heel all season. I think James Conner's biggest game this year was a 69-yard run performance, but that's on 21 attempts. He only averaged 3.29 yards a carry that game, and that was against a beat-up Rams team. So I think the strengths lie with the Chargers. I think we do. I'm kind of caught. I need to beat this team. I don't. It's really hard to peg to kind of like know what to expect because we've been so inconsistent and they've been so inconsistent. So I want us to win. I need us to win. Not sure how it's going to shake out Sunday.
So just taking a look across PFF and kind of looking at their defense, the player that's leading their team in total pressures, J.J. Watt, playing in 10 games. He's got 37 total pressures. He's got 6 sacks on the year. And then the second guy that's been getting pressures, Zach Allen, has got 28 total pressures and 4 sacks. So they're generating more interior pressure than they are getting from their edges. They do run like a 3-4 defense. Marcus Golden, 31 pressures, 2 sacks. They just haven't been able to really get to the quarterback. The other player who's been playing decently well for them as a rookie, Cameron Thomas, one of my favorite players coming out of San Diego State, still not generating the same kind of pressure, only 13 total. Where I'm most interested right now is going to be, are we going to be able to get our run game moving, right? That's been kind of our Achilles heel with this offense. Can we move the ball on the ground against this team? And we should be able to. They don't really have too many players playing very well against the run. This is a great game to go and get our rookie running back who's slowly being phased into the offense some carries. I want to see us get our running back, can't think of his name right now.
Isaiah Spiller.
I want to get him 10 touches this game and see what we can do against a team that really could be a confidence building matchup for us, right? Let's go ahead and give him some carries, some meaningful carries, and let's get our run game on point, because if it doesn't change soon, we're going to be a very one-dimensional team going into the back half of this season, and that's not good if we have any sort of chance to make playoffs. We're sitting at 5-5. We're still very much in the playoff hunt, but we have to fix our issues on offense. Hopefully, Keenan Allen being back going to work in our favor. Looking across our own depth chart, we got some injuries on the offensive side of the ball. Specifically, Mike Williams. Not having Mike Williams out there, not having a really good passing game, we got to figure it out on the ground. Something's got to give. And if we don't figure it out soon, I mean, that's not a good recipe heading into playoffs, into week 16, 17, 18. It's got to get figured out.
Yeah, absolutely. To win games in December, I was just gonna
Yeah, keep
say
going.
I love the just to win games in December and January. You need to be unpredictable type of offense, and where we have not been. Another big key of being able to run the ball effectively is the best part of this Chargers offense this season has been Justin Herbert play action. He's been unreal when we have been able to effectively run the play action, and part is you need protection up front. Part of it is you need to convince defenses that you can run the ball. So they have to value that. They have to fill the box. They have to you. And right now are all in on the pass. There's been no type of run game. A lot of that has been injuries to the running backs. We're going to get Josh Kelly back, I think, this year or this week in practice. So getting that ball moving, becoming a multi-dimensional offense is going to be huge for us. And this is a perfect team to do it. Yes, they have some big bodies up there, but that defense as a whole has not been good. Zaven Collins for them, I'm pretty sure, up and coming linebacker for them, who's been a run stuffer. I think he went down with an injury last game. So getting that ball in, not having to rely on Justin Herbert to be unreal, which he is, but being able to get that ball running the rock effectively is going to be huge for us this week.
I'm going to ask you to take a look across matchups on their defense, on their offense versus our defense, and kind of something you want to exploit. But I'm going to take the other side of this. I think we need to get Keenan Allen going. He seemed to be really healthy, didn't seem to have any sort of setbacks there. So I want to see how he plays against Byron Murphy, who I think is one of the better slot corners in the NFL. Can we go and get him 10, 15 targets a game and see how he does? Josh Palmer had an outstanding game last week. I want to use Keenan Allen as our kind of primary threat and take some of the heat off of Josh Palmer. He's starting to finally come into his own. I think that's the matchup I'm looking to exploit and see how does Keenan Allen go playing a full game, because his snaps were limited last week. And even then, he still seemed to play pretty well. He ended up coming away with 8 targets, five receptions, and ended up he got caught out in, on a go route, which Keenan Allen never runs. And he just seems like he's ready to go and play some football. I want to go and see how are we going to utilize Keenan Allen this week. What are some matchups you're looking at for the Cardinals, and what should we be taking away to go and beat this team? You there, Zach?
We didn't really at all last week was Khalil Mack, and they're out their best left tackle in DJ Humphries. Their Max T is out, and so we need the 5 deuce to come back. I think he was to the Chiefs. They played him very well. They game planned for him very well. This is a game for Khalil Mack, because if we do get Kyler back, he can effectively move the rock with his legs. He can do those off platform type of plays where he gets out of the pocket and really can hurt you from there. For me, it's Kyler Murray, for me, the matchup that I want to see, I need a redemption game from Khalil Mack, who's been really good up to last week against the Chiefs. I want to see himself, because this defense really rallies around that guy. He is when he's making plays, this defense is very different. And when you're gonna, when you don't have a DJ Humphries in there, Kelvin Beachum is a legit right tackle, but matchups to exploit.
All right. What's your final score prediction on this game?
My final score prediction. Let's see. I
think this is going to be like a 28-14 game. I feel like a 28-14 game seems like a reasonable expectation if we're going to get back on track. So that's kind of my thoughts on this game.
28-14. Let's see, because we're kind of hovering around that for offensively. 14 points. I like that. But I'm gonna go. Let's see. They can put up some points here. DeAndre's back. I'm going 24-10 Chargers. I only want to see one. I want 24-10, but I want a 14-7 lead at halftime and then put some points on in the second half because our second half offense has been absolutely horrible this year. I think we're number 3rd in the league right now, scoring in the first half. That drops to 28th once we get to the second half. So I like 14-7 at halftime, blowing them out in that second half, staying strong for a 24-10 victory. Momentum so we can, get back into the playoff picture. We're only one game out of a playoff spot. I think wild card is very attainable. I think that loss to the Chiefs kind of eradicates any type of hope for a division title. But that's what I need if the Chargers are going to play some meaningful football come January, is a 24-10 momentum building type of win.
All right, I'll sell you guys what it's kind of like at the game. I'll be there. I'm super stoked because their stadium is supposed to be really, really nice. So I'll let you guys know next week what it comes out to. We'll talk to you guys next week.